The Bee Movie is probably the most memed movie of all times behind Shrek.
Hello there.
And why is that? Is it because it is good? Is it because it's funny? No, of course not. It's because it's terrible. The Bee Movie has one of the worst reputations in all of cinema, and I have never seen it. So today I wanted to take a look at it and see if it was as bad as everyone has said. So the first thing you might notice about the movie is that the bees are hideous. Who thought it was a good idea to put human faces on bees? I have no clue. We need to fire them right now. This ugly little guy's name is Barry. He is the main character for a wonderful journey going forward. And I should warn you, by the end of the movie, you will hate him. Today happens to be Barry's graduation day. Congrats, Barry. And he is going there with his best friend, Adam.
Yeah, and that concludes our graduation ceremonies. And begins your career at Honex Industries.
And it turns out that in this bee society, the moment you graduate college, you are forced into a job.
That you as a bee have worked your whole life to get to the point where you can work for your whole life.
And that job you choose is stuck with you for your entire life. But Barry being the main character he is, him being the absolute Chad he is, he doesn't want to be like other bees. He doesn't want just one job for the rest of his life. But on the other hand, Adam, his best friend, is perfectly okay with societal norms.
Adam, how could you say that? One job forever? That's an insane choice to have to make.
Well, I'm relieved. Now we only have to make one decision in life.
One of these jobs that bees can acquire is called a pollen jock. They are the bees that leave the hive and go and collect and spread pollen. But these guys are built different. So you can't just be one of them. You literally have to be bred to become one of them. Okay, what happens next literally makes no sense at all. So Barry looks nothing like the pollen jocks. You can just see a visual difference. It's like you next to the guy she tells you not to worry about. But for some reason, these girls think that Barry is a pollen jock, and he uses his manipulation riz on them.
Must be so dangerous being a pollen jock.
Oh, yeah. One time a bear had me pinned up against a mushroom.
The pollen jocks see this and for some reason give Barry the time of day. They come over there and challenge him in front of the Huzz.
We're gonna hit a sunflower patch about 6 miles from here tomorrow. Maybe you're not up for it.
Maybe I am.
And Barry, being the man he is, he agrees to the challenge. He then goes home and tells his parents, I don't want a normal job. He can't be like everyone else.
You know, Dad, the more I think about it, maybe the honey field just isn't right for me.
Damn, Barry, I'm just like you, my boy. So you might think this is the basic premise of the movie, right? Barry doesn't want to be like all the other bees. He has to find his own path into the world. But no, not at all. This movie changes lanes like 8 different times. Usually a movie has 3 arcs, you know, a beginning, a middle, and an end. You know, that's normal. This movie has a beginning, a middle, another beginning, a middle, another beginning, a middle, and then an end. It has 3 beginnings, 3 middles, and then finally somewhat of an end at the end. And I think it's really only an end because the movie ends. I said end so much right there, I hope you got what I meant. This movie is like 3 movies smashed into one, and they took all the parts out, which makes the characters likable, relatable, any parts that built the character relationships, all that stuff that's like important to making a good movie, they just threw it away. Going back to that movie, while talking to his parents, Barry casually just drops that he's going to sleep with a grasshopper.
Maybe I'll pierce my thorax, shave my antenna, shack up with a grasshopper.
The next day, Barry arrives where the pollen jocks take off, and the general tells Barry one rule.
And a reminder for all you rookies. Bee law number 1. Absolutely no talking to humans.
The most unrealistic part of this whole movie is not the talking bees. It's not the face on the bees. It's the fact that nobody is scared of the bees. When a bee is near me, I go into full defense mode. I'm fighting for my life. And these people just let a swarm of bees right next to him. Eventually, he breaks off from the group because, again, he is the main character, so he has to do his own thing.
I'm gonna do my own thing.
But oh no, it starts raining and everyone knows bees can't fly in rain. Everyone knows that. He gets hit by one of the raindrops and he falls onto the only windowsill in the entire street that has flowers on it. Eventually, Barry enters the room, and guess what he does? He breaks rule number 1.
You like jazz?
This lady is Vanessa. She's the other like main character, I guess, to the movie. I guess you could call her a love interest, although I do not want to call her that because she is a human and Barry is a bee, but she is a love interest. And this lady would obviously think she's crazy for hearing a bee talk because Barry talks to her. So she would think, oh my god, I've gone mentally insane. Well, she does for like 3 seconds. Then they just start talking like they've been friends for 20 years.
Can I, get you something?
Like what?
I don't know. I don't know. Coffee?
Here's a moment in the movie where some substance needs to be added because this makes no sense at all. Why is she just okay with this? And this is actually the best case of it. She, out of every human in the movie, takes the longest to accept it. 3 seconds is a world record on this imaginary planet. Every other human just accepts it as is. And not only does she accept the bee being able to talk very quickly, but the very next scene, these two are on a date.
In the cab as they're flying up Madison.
Okay, at this point in the movie, you might be thinking this is either a romantic movie between Barry, the bee, and Vanessa, the human. Or maybe it's a movie where Barry works his way into becoming a full-time pollen jock. What if I told you that both of those things are totally unimportant going forward? The first 30 minutes of this 90-minute movie are practically unneeded. I mean, they already cut out so much of the character building. This first 30 minutes is unimportant. This is kind of what I was talking about, being 3 different movies stuck together, because this whole first part felt like it could have been its own movie if they just extended it a little bit, maybe added some character evolution, some character growth, and maybe spent some time connecting Vanessa and the bee together. That's so wrong. It's so wrong. But it could have been its own movie. This could have been a 3-part series. Bee Movie 1, Bee Movie 2, and Bee Movie 3. That's what this should have been. But they just stuck them all 3 together, and this is the first one. So getting into part 2, Bee Movie 2, we find Barry at the store. And he sees Honey, and he gets mad. He starts seething. He is not happy about this.
It's organic.
It's just honey, Barry.
Just what? Bees don't know about this. This is stealing. A lot of stealing.
How dare these humans take our honey? That's what he says. Barry finds out from Vanessa that the humans are getting honey from this place called a honey farm. So he finds one of the trucks that are going to said honey farm, and he hitches a ride all the way to a farm, which is presumably hours away. We have no clue how he gets home. It's never talked about, never mentioned, but I guess he does it somehow. But once he gets there, he sees that a mass amount of honey is getting stolen. Thousands and thousands of colonies of bees are being robbed from. And he wants to put an end to it. So he does the only thing reasonable. The only thing either you, me, anyone would have thought of. He decides he's going to sue the entire human race. And with no context of how or why it happened, they end up in the Supreme Court.
We're going to hear for ourselves if a honeybee can actually speak.
And now the entire world, the whole planet, me, you, your weird uncle, everyone knows that bees can talk. And presumably, every other animal can talk too. I haven't shown you any clips of that, but they've shown clips of other animals talking. So you would think the reaction to this would be catastrophic, right? People would start rioting. They'd start saying the government has been hiding from us for years. Things would go crazy. But no, there is actually such a slight reaction that all it is one single nod. Not even like a whole group of nods. One person nodded.
I'm kidding. Yes, Your Honor, we're ready to proceed.
And Mr. Montgomery.
There's a side plot that I haven't really mentioned up to this point because it's kind of unimportant. I mean, the whole movie is unimportant, but like this is just unimportant to the movie. But I'm going to summarize it for you right now because it is really funny. This guy is Vanessa's boyfriend. And you might be thinking, but Vanessa and the bee have gone on dates. And that's where the problem is. Vanessa is attracted to a bee. So she breaks up with this human man for a bee. On the second day of trials, the lawyer for the humans starts making fun of Barry and the entire bee species as a whole. And this gets Adam all riled up. He gets angry. He's like, he's seeing red, you know? So of course, he does the only thing that makes sense. He kills himself. Okay, so sadly, He doesn't actually die. It would have made the movie so much better. But he doesn't die. But it would have been really funny if he did. Because he's really unimportant for the rest of the movie, so he should have probably just died. On the third day of the trial, Barry wins. The reason is unimportant and doesn't make no sense at all, so I'm not going to try explaining it to you. But just know he won. And for some reason, because of that, the humans are taking the honey that they've taken from the bees and processed, and it's honey still, but it's processed honey, most of it, and they're pushing it back into the beehives, which overflows every hive in the world. So now the bees don't need to work, and every bee can just go around enjoying their free time. Then a nondescript amount of time passes, and every flower, every tree, every single blade of grass on the floor has died. On the entire planet. Why? Because the bees have stopped working. So there's nothing to pollinate it. Except that's not how it works. Yes, bees are a ginormous aspect to the pollination process. There would still be some plants. Like the wind pollinates, other animals pollinate. It's not to the scale of which bees do it, but not every plant would die. But whatever, it's an animated movie where bees are talking and there's a romance between a bee and a human. Okay, clearly nothing matters in this universe. And here starts the third part of the movie, the third movie. In the first movie, we had a self-discovery romance movie, right? Second movie, we had a Saul Goodman lawyer movie. And in this third movie, we have a heist action movie. This video is already getting long enough, so I'm just gonna try to quickly explain to you what happens. Vanessa makes Barry realize his mistakes, makes him realize that, oh shoot, bees need to work because they're clearly the only reason that the entire planet is functioning in this universe. Sorry, going back to like the whole bees, if the bees stop working, plants wouldn't exist. What do they think was going on before bees existed? Because bees didn't always exist. Okay, that's unimportant. So Vanessa makes Barry realize his mistakes and Barry creates a plan. There's one final flower parade going on in the entire world, and it's just happening in a few days. And Barry plans to steal some flowers from it, bring it back to, I think they're in DC, and repollinate the entire planet. So they go to the parade, they steal one of the floats, they put it on a plane somehow. I don't know how they fit it on the plane. Must have cost thousands of dollars. Then they get on the plane, and of course, Barry knocks out the two pilots. He is now a terrorist.
I'm an attorney!
Who's an attorney?
Don't move. Oh, Barry.
But it's okay, because with the help of every other bee and Vanessa flying the plane, they land the plane safely. And they repollinate the entire planet in just a few seconds. So yeah, that was the Bee Movie. The most nothing burger of a movie of all time. Why was it created? Who knows? Is it good? No. Should you watch it? No. Should you subscribe to my channel? Yes.